Welcome to the Heal Your Hunger Show, where we get to the heart of why you overeat and how to stop. If you struggle with food and weight like I did, welcome home. Welcome, everybody, to the Heal Your Hunger Show. So happy to have you here. It is a great day to be alive. And OMG, you're going to love this guest that I have for you today. Before I get into that and you get to hear this amazing soul, I want to just invite you to be a part of the Secret Sauce group on Facebook. And the reason why I want to do that is because you got to have a tribe. Okay. You got to have a tribe. And if you are wanting to start approaching your relationship with food from an entirely new standpoint, one where you are not on a dieting roller coaster ride, that's a great place to start. So a couple things, actually. Go to the Secret Sauce group on Facebook. It's the Secret Sauce to End Emotional Eating. Ask to join. We're happy to have you. It's free. It's private. But also another good step is to take the quiz on my website, healyourhunger.com. This is a quiz that takes, 2-3 minutes to take. It's free also. But what you're going to get from that quiz is a personalized score where you can find out if you're an emotional eater or a food addict or somewhere in between. And if you don't think you're an emotional eater, trust me, take the quiz and find out. And you might be an emotional eater, and you might even be an emotional eater to the point of being a food addict. But get your personalized score, because that'll determine that. And it's really determined by your level of control around food and your level of consequences around binging and weight gain. So get a personalized score, find out what to do about it. When you take that quiz, we'll actually give you a prescription for what might be the next right steps for you based on your score. So I'm excited for you to do that. And also just make sure you're tuning in to Heal Your Hunger, because we have so many cool things happening and coming up very, very soon. Okay, now my guest, I am so excited to introduce him. His name is Sachin Patel, and he is a father, a husband, a philanthropist, functional medicine practice, success coach, speaker, author, breathwork facilitator. But none of those words really even encapsulate what he does every single day, and he is all about really helping people raise their consciousness, activate their inner doctor, and initiate their deepest healing through lifestyle and breath work. He also founded the Living Proof Institute, through which he has pioneered a revolutionary approach to patient-centered healthcare. And we're going to talk about that on this show, on this episode with Sachin. But I just have to say, before I introduce him, put everything aside. This guy talks fast. He's got a lot to say, and he makes you think. Okay. So don't think you're going to do 5 things at one time and really take this in. Grab a cup of tea, sit down, put your feet up, and listen. I'm so excited. Hey, Sachin, thanks so much for being on the show.
Thank you, Tricia. It's such an honor and pleasure. I'm excited for our conversation today.
Yeah, me too. And it was really cool that we were just talking before I hit record, and you mentioned Leonardo da Vinci, and because, as you know, I'm in Italy right now recording this, and I love the reference. So I'll let you take that lead. But I just want to say, and I said this in the intro, but I want to reiterate that you're just an awesome human being, and I'm really honored to know you. And I'm so glad that you're taking the time to be here. So thank you for that.
Thank you. I received that. What a wonderful greeting. Thank you, Tricia.
Thank you.
As you were quoting Da Vinci, what he was saying is that the greatest sign of sophistication is simplicity. And, me having just traveled to Italy and you being there in Sardinia right now, it's like such a wonderful part of the world, and they live like such a simple life.
Yes.
So, how much we need to bring more of that back into our Western culture, because we've just way overcomplicated everything, especially the healing process.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I love that, what I like about you is that I love the way you express yourself. And I also love your spirituality, and I don't know if you would call it that, but I would call it your depth of being, perhaps, as another way of putting it. So y'all who are listening, you're in for a great show here.
Thank you.
So listen, you have a beautiful life. You do have a beautiful wife and son, and you have an amazing practice helping practitioners, business helping practitioners serve their patients better in a more holistic, just integrated way. And so let's talk about can you just riff a little bit about your views about life?
Oh, what a loaded question.
I know. Sorry. There's so many things I want to talk to you about. So I'm like, I don't know where to go here. There's too many different avenues I could take. So yeah, I'm punting it to you.
Yeah, sure. Certainly. So I could definitely talk about, certain views I have on life and perhaps like health and wellness. So the golden thread that I operate out of is that the doctor of the future is the patient. And it's really each of us individually. So I'm really on a mission, and as I know you are as well, Tricia, to decentralize and democratize health. We've kept it centralized for far too long. And it doesn't have to be that way anymore. It used to be that to know the information that your doctor knows, you had to go through all this training and go through medical school, and you had to be, had operated at a certain level academically at a certain time in your life, right? There's people now that are, so smart and so intelligent. You put the right information in front of them, they can make informed and educated decisions, but that clearly doesn't happen on its own. And so we have to seek for those answers. So somebody who's listening to this is seeking some level of truth or higher truth that's going to propel them in the right direction. So first of all, health is our responsibility. It starts in our homes, not in the hospital, not at your doctor's office. And I believe that if the real change that I'm trying to create is where people don't wait until they're 50, get cancer, and then learn how to eat healthy. So even if functional medicine can clean up that mess, that person had to live a cancer-causing life and mirror a cancer-causing life, and then project that perhaps onto the next generation of people. So they taught that behavior and that self-love model to their children, right? And they of course learned it from someone else. So this is how I believe diseases get transferred from one generation to the next, is through epigenetic expression. And so to me, the real solution in the world that I want to live in is where people are born and their parents know how to take care of them. Just like, people know how to take care of succulents better than they know how to take care of babies. Right. So people do all this research and then they delegate the most important information to sources that profit off of their dependence and in many cases their illness. Right. So from the very beginning, the system is set up, unless you're willing to do your own research and not delegate that responsibility, the system is set up to start us off on the wrong foot, right?
Oh boy. That's an incredible. I wish I had my partner here talking to you as well. That would be a fun conversation to have, because he's from the Netherlands and he's always beating that drum. He's like, your system here it doesn't make sense. Like it's a profit motive every time you walk into the doctor's office, and that absolutely affects what you're offered and what you're sold. That is not right. And I never saw it until he started really beating that drum.
Yeah, it's quite unfortunate. It's just food for thought for everyone. If everyone woke up healthy tomorrow, our entire economy would crumble. So the economy is betting on people being sick. The stock market is betting on people being sick. Investors are betting on people being sick and not being able to take care of themselves, building nursing homes, building hospitals. Like all this stuff is being built with predictive models. But here's the thing, like if we just all wake up one day and decide to change, literally in 90 days, people can have transformational health experiences. I mean, in fact, we have a program called a 9-day jumpstart where we show people that in 9 days, they can lose anywhere from 7 to 10 pounds, kick their cravings, do all kinds of amazing things when they give their body the right input, right? If a plant needs water and you give it water, it almost instantly starts to thrive again. And human beings are the same way. If we give ourselves the right inputs, then just like a plant, we can go from wilting to being, thriving and healthy. But nobody's ever taught us that model, right? It's really the model that we learn is about how to, diagnose and treat a disease. And just listen to the word treat, right? I treat my dog. I don't have a dog, but I would treat my dog if they did something right. So even the word treat, your doctor treats this condition. So they're giving that condition candy, essentially, which is the medication, but you keep coming back for more treats, don't you? Right? You keep going to the doctors, they give you more treats. Listen to the word cure. The word cure means to harden, right? So when concrete cures, it goes from being this liquid goop to now being hard as concrete. And so are you really looking for a cure, right? Are you looking to solidify your condition, right? And put your condition into concrete, or are you looking for a solution? Solutions are where things dissolve, right? So if I put salt into water, the water, I can't see the salt in that anymore. It's become part of it. So even the words that we use are casting spells, and people think, oh, like I'm treating this condition. Like people say, well, you can't say treat. Why would I say treat? That's the exact worst word that I could possibly use, is that I treat a condition. Why would I say cure? That's the worst word that I can use from a vibrational and definitional standpoint. So, I mean, you just start looking around and you can start very easily seeing, as you look at it through this lens, that, oh my God, he's absolutely 100% right. And once you see that, you can't unsee it.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for that food for thought. That was really good. I'm sure people were like, let me go over that again. That's great. Yeah, it's really important that we take a close look at this, and what are we being sold? What are we buying and what are we being sold? So on the topic of taking responsibility for our health and taking our power back regarding our health and our happiness, can you talk about some of the most important things to you around being a healthy, happy person?
All right, great question. So there's really like three key pillars that we like to focus on. And if you could knock down these dominoes, it knocks down 1,000 other dominoes. And it almost like what I'm going to share with you all today is embarrassingly simple. So I want to acknowledge that from the very beginning, that I'm not going to go into biochemistry. I'm not going into all of those things. Just like when I go to driving school, they don't rip apart the engine and show me all the pieces of it, right? They just show me, okay, if you want to go faster, put your foot on the pedal. If you want to slow down, put your foot on the brake. And here's how you turn. And these are the signals, right? It's what makes your car sophisticated is that it's simple to use, right? If you had to like understand every biochemical nuance that's happening in your internal combustion engine, you would be paralyzed and you would never drive. This is why people never get healthy, because they think it's so complicated. They think they have to rip apart the cell and analyze every single component of it. But our body's so sophisticated, and as sophisticated as it is it's equally as simple to take care of. So embarrassingly simple should be your health strategy. If it isn't embarrassingly simple, it's going to be embarrassingly complicated. So first and foremost, we focus on breath. Everyone takes up to 23,000 plus or minus breaths every single day, whether they like it or not, right? Try not breathing for 5 minutes and tell me what happens, okay? In fact, breathing is so important that it's impossible for you to hold your breath and actually die, because you go unconscious and then your body starts breathing again. That's how important breathing is. So first things first is making people aware of how they breathe, because everywhere you go, there's your breath, okay? And so many people, about 50% of people breathe through their mouths. Where we should be breathing from is our nose. Okay. And so when we breathe through our nose, we cleanse the air, we pressurize the air. You actually get 20% more oxygen when you breathe through your nose versus breathing through your mouth. The positioning of your tongue tells your body you're in a relaxed state, further inducing a parasympathetic response, which is our rest, digest, reproduce, regenerate, restore response in our body, which heals every cell, tissue, organ, and system simultaneously, which is the only state that you can actually heal in. You can't heal while you're running away from a lion, just like I can't get an oil change while I'm driving down the highway. So I have to put my body in the right state in order for all of my cells and tissues to get the signal from the nervous system that it's time for us to heal. The breath is the bridge and the fastest way for us to induce a parasympathetic state. And so our breath is actually quite fascinating. And of course, I could talk about breathing for hours. I'm actually going to speak at a dental conference about breathing tomorrow.
Oh, great.
So breathing through our nose, that's the first thing. And we want to breathe through our nose 24/7, as much as we possibly can, right? There'll be times where we're laughing. I'm talking right now, so I'm breathing through my mouth. You'll hear me pause and take a breath in through my nose periodically, just like that. And so we want to make sure that we're nasal breathing as much as we can. Your mouth is the dirtiest part of the body, which means that every breath you take in, people are like so worried about outdoor air and pollution and stuff like that. The dirtiest part of your body is your mouth.
Wow.
So every time you breathe, you're basically breathing in all these bacterial particulate, and your immune system's like, dude, like I gave you a nose, breathe through your nose, because the nose actually cleanses the air. It temperature regulates the air. It moisture regulates the air. You have a mucosal lining that has nitric oxide being released. So you actually kill viruses, bacteria, and pathogen on contact. You get 20% more oxygen breathing through your nose. And so it's far more effective. And so it's like the exact opposite of what you want to be doing. So about 2/3 of people sleep with their mouth open at night. So tonight, the recommendation, and you can work your way up to this, but we encourage people to tape their mouth shut while they sleep. What happens when you tape your mouth closed at night? You're taking about 8,000 breaths with your mouth closed and breathing through the nose. When you breathe through your nose, and I'm going to assume people don't have obstructive issues, and there's ways to address that. But let's just assume they can, without irritation or dysfunction, breathe through their nose. We want them breathing through their nose. The number one cause of cavities, this is going to blow your mind, it blew my mind, is mouth breathing.
Wow.
Mouth breathing is the number one cause of cavities because it dries out your saliva. Your saliva protects your teeth and the enamel. And then what happens is when your saliva dries out, the bacteria becomes super concentrated. And so breathing through your mouth changes your oral microbiome. This is why people who breathe through their mouth have bad breath, because they have a toxic microbiome. Now, the microbiome in the mouth, because you're swallowing throughout the day, that's the same microbiome that's going into your gut. And so when we breathe through our mouth, we destroy the benefits of saliva. We signal to our nervous system we're in a fight or flight state. So leading to anxiety, leading to, a racing mind, a racing heart, leading to a slightly sympathetic dominant state, right? So we're not in flight mode, we're not in fight or flight mode, but we're walking in the wrong direction, right? And so with our breath, we can steer people back in the right direction. And so by becoming aware of how we breathe, breathing through our nose as much as we possibly can, taping our mouth closed at night, we instantly now are in control of the steering wheel of our nervous system. So for those people that don't know, and this isn't complicated, but I will just explain it a little bit. We have something called the autonomic nervous system. Right now, your autonomic nervous system is regulating functions that you are completely unaware of and incapable at a conscious level of keeping track of. So if I had to think about my digestion right now, that'd be weird, right? I'm trying to have a conversation with you. And if I had to manage my heart rate and my respiratory rate, like these are all things that, my body takes care of automatically. So cell reproduction, immune function, respiratory rate, how many cells are being born and dying right now in my body, right? Where's blood going in my body, my blood pressure, blood sugar, all of that is being regulated by this autonomic nervous system. The autonomic nervous system has two gears. It can be in fight or flight, which we all know as stress, or it can be in a parasympathetic state, which we know as rest, digest, repair, and regenerate. So your breath is actually the steering wheel that you can use to determine which side you want to be operating in. So for example, Tricia, if I wanted to raise your blood pressure, raise your blood sugar, raise your body temperature, start sending blood to your arms and legs instantly, I can do that by creating emotional stress for you, right? A lion could walk into the room, but I can create the same physiology in your body by having you breathe rapidly. So I can have you breathe in a specific pattern that creates that physiology in your body, right? Remember that when you breathe in and out, with every breath you take, your lungs inflate and deflate. So your heart is just being pumped with every breath that you take, right? So that's going to raise your blood pressure.
Yeah.
Right. So we can induce a physiological state of fight or flight or support the fight or flight state with our breath. So breath is like this really interesting two-way system. We breathe consciously and we breathe unconsciously. What you'll notice is that when you breathe unconsciously, as your emotions change, your breath changes. When you experience something stressful, you gasp, right? When you feel a sense of relief, you sigh. Right. So these actually create a physiological and emotional response in our body, and it changes our chemistry. So you could do them as a as a passive, inactive act. When you feel a sense of relief, you just kind of do it. Or you can do it intentionally to create the sense of relief, create the chemistry of relief in your body. So crying is breath work. Laughing is breath work. The way we breathe when we have an orgasm, that's breath work. That breathing has a signature that it creates in our physiology. So we can use our breath to lean into certain things, to induce certain states of emotion and induce certain states of physiology. So it's so much more than just taking a breath. I mean, it's such a powerful and simple, but it can be very sophisticated at the same time if we want to get into some of those details. But I'll digress and I'll let you ask whatever questions you have.
Well, I'm so glad you've been talking all this time, because I've been like shutting my mouth so I could breathe through my nose. So it's great. Thank you. That's all really amazing. And yes, a lot deeper conversation than I expected. So, but I do expect that from you. So just didn't know what it was going to be. So thank you for sharing that. Yeah, go ahead.
I'll close the loop. So breath is the first thing, okay. So I always tell people, keep in mind how long it takes for you to be deprived of something and how it shows up for you. So if you stop breathing for 5 minutes, you're dead, right? If you stop drinking water, I believe it's 7 days or so, you're dead. Okay. No fluids, of course. And then if you stop eating, it's probably going to take, depending on what you weigh and how much reserve you have, it's going to be anywhere from 14 days to maybe even a couple of months for some people. So if something if you can't breathe for 5 minutes and you're dead, then that should clue us into how important that activity is. Okay. So I tell people, if you want to feel better in 5 minutes, let's focus on your breath. If you want to feel better in a week, let's get you drinking more water. If you want to feel better in 2 weeks to a month, then let's really dial in nutrition, because that's how long it's going to take for you to see a shift, right? So the first thing we need to do is not get more healthier cells. This is what people think. This is the mistake they make. They think that I need more healthier cells. What you actually need is more of your cells doing the right thing. And so then the effect can be instant. I don't have to wait 30 days until my diet, improves my cell function, because if you have healthier cells that are still doing the wrong thing because you're not steering the nervous system with your breath correctly, then you're not really leveraging what is available to you. So it's shocking to me that I didn't know this for all these years. I just started going down this breathing rabbit hole for the last 3 or 4 years. And it's made such a profound impact on me and on my clients, on my son. Like, it's changed the way my wife and my son breathe, which, who better to love on and impact positively than your own family.
Right.
But it's also given me like a really powerful tool that everyone already possesses. So breath is the first one. And again, I could talk about hours and we just scratched the surface. The second thing is circadian rhythm. So this is, again, free. You just have to literally go outside for 10 minutes within the first hour of your day. Try to, I know the days are getting longer here, but try to see the sun. So I tell people, before you look at your screen, before you have caffeine, go outside and get your feet in the green and get your eyes in the sky. So if people can do that simple thing that they can do changes their circadian biology. And our circadian biology means basically that there's different hormones that are released at different times of the day. So for example, at nighttime, in the presence of darkness, we release melatonin. And in the morning, in the presence of bright light, okay, our interior lights are not bright enough. So it's really got to be outdoors. That bright light increases cortisol. And what cortisol does is it gets us up in the morning. So when people say, I'm so tired in the morning, it takes me forever to get up, just go outside. You're literally a battery. Like when you look at your physiology, what happens when you go in the sun is it increases nitric oxide production. It causes a process called sulfation, which literally now blood is shooting through your arteries in a frictionless vessel, basically. And you're creating an electrical gradient, which is literally charging your body battery. So, the proof is already there, like the molecular, biological, physiological proof is already there. And people always feel better when they go outside. So we know intuitively that it's the right thing to do. Every animal and plant on this planet regulates its biology based on the rising and setting of the sun, except human beings. And so the artificial light bulb, LED bulbs, screens, all these things have really screwed up our circadian biology. And when people start realigning themselves with this universal concept, they start feeling better. They start digesting better. They start sleeping better. They have energy at the right times of day. See, the problem isn't that people don't have energy. The problem is they have energy at all the wrong times, right? When they're supposed to be awake and alert in the morning, they're tired. And when they're supposed to be in bed, they can't fall asleep, right? Because they're too alert. And this biological mismatch is actually caused by a circadian mismatch. They're not getting enough bright light in the morning, and at night when it should be dark, all the lights in their house are on. So when people call me, like I have people that have tried all kinds of things, they say, Sachin, my sleep sucks, which is pillar number 3. What do I need to do? I said, well, just basically have a lights out challenge. Like, what does that mean? I said, you basically don't turn on any lights in your house after the sun goes down, unless you're using special red bulbs, and they have to be coming from the ground up. See, the positioning of the light also changes the message that our brain is getting. So when light is coming from overhead, which in nature would only be during the day, then the light is hitting the bottom of our retina. When light is coming from the ground up, it's hitting the top of our retina. And so if you think of a campfire, right, a campfire is on the ground and it's lighting our face going this way. And the colors are yellow, orange, red. And so those temperatures, frequencies of light are actually healing and send messages to our brain that it's time to release melatonin.
That is crazy. This is crazy stuff. This is so good. I love this.
And it's like so simple, right? Like it's like so basic, but it makes sense. And you start to realize that, wow, how could it be that easy? But then you also realize, again, embarrassingly simple, right? This is like embarrassingly simple stuff, but it works. And it just makes sense when you start thinking about how incongruent we live, right? We're incongruent with what our body needs, and we're still alive, right? Imagine if you gave your body exactly what it needed and you knew exactly what those inputs were. You knew how to breathe. You knew how to use lighting as a tool. You knew the direction the lighting should come from. You know what foods to eat, what foods not to eat. You know how to manage your sun exposure, to manage your neurobiology. Like, I mean, you don't even have to be a rocket scientist. You just have to do it. Like the benefit comes from doing it, not from knowing what you're doing. And so circadian rhythm is a big part of that. And then the third part is sleep, right? So the most parasympathetic thing that we do, assuming we breathe correctly, is sleep. Sleep is when our body repairs, regenerates, restores, rejuvenates. You know, all those things are a result of making sure you're getting adequate rest and recovery. And so when people do that, they breathe right, 24/7. They get their circadian rhythm right? So over the daily clock that we mentioned, and they get their sleep right, then within days, they start feeling better. It doesn't take years. It doesn't take months. It doesn't take weeks, like literally within days. Like think about it this way, like for all of you listening, how many days into your vacation do you start feeling better? Right? Like whenever I ask this in a workshop, I ask people who feels better on vacation. Like everyone raises their hand. I'm like, did I change your genes? Did I change your financial situation? May have made it worse, right? By going on this vacation. Did I change your stress levels? Probably. Are you grounding more? Are you getting more sunlight? Are you laughing more? Right? Are you doing all the
We're doing the right things.
You're doing all the right things without realizing you're doing it, and you feel better. And then you go back home and you feel like crap again because you're not doing all the right things.
Right.
Anymore. So we know we can feel better fast, right? We have overwhelming evidence in our own bodies that we feel better when we do the right things. But sometimes we don't do them by knowing that we're doing them, right? When you go on a walk on the beach, you don't understand, all the biology that's taking place. But if you could continue doing that when you come home, because that sun is still going to benefit you, even if you're not walking on the beach, then you keep doing that and you keep receiving the benefit. And so imagine doing, like we call it the daily dozen. Imagine doing 12 things every day that you're already doing and doing them with awareness. Think about going to the bathroom. Most people poop wrong every single day. And the difference between somebody who poops right and somebody who poops wrong is 9 inches. And what I mean by that is basically if you put your feet up 7 to 9 inches, your pelvis tilts in the correct position. And now you're not fighting your anatomy to go to the bathroom every morning. I mean,
oh my God.
Like embarrassingly simple things like this. Right?
Because it's back to our roots, right?
It's every country on the planet squats when they go to the bathroom.
Wow.
Right? So it's no wonder we have tens of millions of people with digestive issues. They put crap into their body. They don't even have the best anatomical positioning to eliminate the crap in their body. So no wonder they feel constipated. No wonder they need a stool softener, because literally when you sit in the wrong position, there's a muscle that's pinching your rectum that's preventing the poop from coming out. So it's like, again, simple stuff that we teach people how to do. And then once you see it, you can't unsee it. Right. And there's no way to even attack anything that I'm saying, because everything I'm saying is scientifically, logically, and common sense and experientially validated by people.
I love it. Sachin, per usual, you're bringing it. So thank you so much. This is a lot of food for thought, although I know our last topic was poop, so I shouldn't say food, but really good stuff. Thank you for sharing all that. That is, pardon the pun, but that's a lot to digest. So it's just great. Thank you for making us think. Thanks for showing us quick and easy ways that we can literally change how we feel and feel better fast. I love that. In fact, I think that's going to be the title of this show. this particular episode is how to feel better fast. So thank you so much. So if people are like, that is the coolest shit, how do I get more? How do they find you?
Well, great question. Thanks for asking, and thanks for sharing this with your community. It means a lot to me,
my pleasure.
And I hope people kind of appreciate my sense of humor, my sarcasm, and really we just want what's best for people. So, if people want to connect with us, with our Living Proof community more, I actually many years ago put together a program with timeless wisdom, and basically, if you were to come see me in my practice, these are the 30 things I would tell you to do, and I realized very quickly that all the people that need my help, I could never see them physically in my practice. So I created basically a 30-day program where every day you're going to get one short video and a really simple email that has my best tips. So these are the things that if I jumped on a call, I'd want to make sure you're doing them before we even move any step further. And if you're not doing these things, and maybe you're seeing somebody else, then implement this, because it's going to be some of those simple things that you do that make the biggest difference. So you can go to 30in30.org, 30in30.org, and you'll get tons of bonuses. It's all free. It's all completely free. And it's my gift to everyone for, taking an interest in their health, because the solution isn't more doctors. It isn't more healers. It isn't more functional medicine practitioners. It's not more hospitals. The solution that we all want is more healthy people. And the
Amen.
Most viable solution is for people to take an interest in their own health and own their health, so nobody else owns their disease condition.
Beautiful. Amen to that. Thank you so much. 30in30, and we'll put that in the show notes. So it's 30in30.org.
You got it. Thank you.
Beautiful. Awesome. So good to be with you, Sachin. Thank you so much for bringing such a beautiful, life-giving message here today. And everyone listening, I wasn't wrong, was I? So thanks so much. Sending you and Deepa so much love. And I will see you soon, too, in person. I'm excited for that.
I'm excited to give you a big hug. We'll see you soon. Thank you for this
too.
Opportunity. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
If you enjoyed this podcast and want to get free support, insider health info, exclusive invites to events, and more, visit healyourhunger.com.